Yeah, I think SDN is getting so much attention because it is a changer in terms of the way we approach the network, right? The network has usually been sort of manual, monolithic, and not really programmable. And what we need at Facebook and what we think the rest of the industry really wants is programmable networking, open networking, and they want to treat switches a lot like they do servers. That's why it's so important to us. Yeah, so Open Compute Project is a project that Facebook started several years ago for the data center. You can think of it as open source for hardware. And we started this for servers, for storage, for data center designs, and it's only recently that we've started it for networking. Yeah. And those initiatives have all shown a lot of interest from over 150 companies are involved in Open Compute, and now the networking project is very active. We've got a lot of contributions there already. We've been getting a lot of hardware contributed, and that's shown a lot of good progress. The next step for us is to really start tackling the software. What is the software that's going to be on top of those switches, and how can we make that as open and as programmable as possible, right? So that way, programming a switch should feel no different than programming a server and any other software services on a server. Sure. So the ONF has been around kind of really at the birth of the whole OpenFlow SDN movement, and the board of the ONF is comprised entirely of operators, right? So there are no vendors on that, and it's really to try to preserve the notion of, hey, how do the large operators think about networking, right? So we participate there. We give a lot of our views on the hardware in particular. How can something like Open Compute Project's hardware complement what ONF is trying to do on the software side. I think the benefit is really giving them the agility through software to really give new differentiated services, give specialized services to different users. It's all possible through software. I think a lot of the process that's been built up in a lot of the service providers has been around managing of appliances and taking care of hardware and depreciating that hardware over time. But really where a lot of the value for them, I think, is going to go is to the software. Certainly over the top vendor, like us, we do a lot on top of the provider networks, and we expect the provider should be able to do the same thing. I think it's really a people one, right? So there's the technology, which has its challenges, no doubt, and we're trying to address all of those. But really what we've seen, even within Facebook, is that it's a different way of thinking about the network that your networking staff really has to embrace and get their minds wrapped around, right? To say, I'm not trying to configure a device anymore, I'm really trying to program a service, right? And turning your network engineers into DevOps engineers, into software developers is a transition that's going to take a while, but if you do it, then you've got the talent and you've got the mindset ready to provide those software services.